In our headlines on this Thursday, October 2nd, here in South Korea. The benchmark KOSPI index charges into uncharted territory during trade on this Thursday, breaking past the 3,500 mark for the first time, driven by semiconductors. Come October 5th, we celebrate the 19th World Korean Day, aimed at advancing interactions between Koreans here in the country and the over 7 million Koreans residing overseas. Meanwhile, the U.S. federal government marks its first day of a shutdown, with lawmakers across the aisle blaming the other for the failure to narrow differences. But investors on Wall Street appear undeterred. Today, that is Thursday, October 2nd, marks the eve of a long extended holiday starting tomorrow, with National Foundation Day followed by the Chuseok holiday at the start of next week and ending with Hangul Day on October 9th. Now, as expected, we are looking ahead to a mass movement of people seeking to spend this festive occasion with family and friends. That being said, my colleague Park Jun-han is standing by live at Seoul Station. Jun-han, welcome. So let's begin with the atmosphere there. What have you been hearing and seeing, Jun-han?
Good afternoon, Sunny. I'm currently here at Seoul Station, as you just mentioned. Even though today is the eve of Chuseok holiday, which is 7th day, I could see that there are so many people actually here. And as you can see behind me, many are waiting either to meet their friends, get a holiday, or to unite to get back down to meet people. And although it's just past 5 p.m., the station is not overly crowded, as more people are expected to arrive after 6 p.m. after work. According to the latest data from railway company Korail, as of 3 p.m., 304,000 tickets had been booked for today, accounting for over 81% of the available train tickets from this station. Korail also said that 3.6 million tickets will have been sold throughout the entire Chuseok holiday period. Passengers here are excited. Take a listen to what some of them had to say.
I think it's great to be here during this holiday, experience also to see new parts of Korea. Also meet up with some friends I met here last year. And we meet up also with a group of friends here in Korea.
I'm planning to go down to my family home in Yeongwol, Gangwon-do province. During Chuseok, I'm looking forward to family gatherings, eating songpyeon rice cakes and lots of delicious food, and having fun together. I'll also get to see friends from my hometown and meet people I haven't seen in a long time, which I'm really excited about.
I'll be spending time with my family, seeing my grandfather, who is also my daughter's great-grandfather, and enjoying a warm, happy time together. My daughter really likes her grandparents, so we're both looking forward to seeing her play and have fun with her great-grandfather. We plan to spend a joyful and fulfilling time together.
Right. Jun-han, do tell us a bit about the estimated travel times for those who choose to take their cars or the bus to their hometowns.
Right, Sunny. So there are people at the train station, but there are some people who's actually taking car or express bus. So according to the Korea Expressway Corporation, the total expected traffic volume for today is 5.35 million vehicles. And the corporation noted that as the holiday period begins on Friday, traffic hasn't reached its peak yet. And as of Thursday at 4 p.m., it should take about 5 hours from the Seoul tollgate to the Busan tollgate. From Seoul City to Daegu City, it should take 3 hours and 30 minutes. From Seoul to Daejeon, it should take 2 hours and 20 minutes by car. For traffic departing from Seoul, congestion is expected to peak between 6 p.m. and 7 p.m. and is expected to ease after 11 p.m. For traffic heading towards Seoul, congestion is expected to be heaviest between 5 p.m. and 6 p.m. and is expected to be eased after 9 p.m. Back to you, Sunny.
All right, Jun-han, thank you for that coverage. That was our Park Jun-han's ETA for those planning to be on the road today to kick off the holiday season.
Happy Chuseok, Sunny.
Right, up next, we take a look at the price of setting this year's Chuseok table. Our correspondent Kim Do-yeon covers the grocery bills and more.
With a 7-day national holiday coming up, South Korea's consumer prices went back up to the 2% range. The Ministry of Data and Statistics said on Thursday that consumer prices rose 2.1% in September compared to a year earlier. The figure is a return to the 2% range after a temporary dip in August, which was attributed to a one-off mobile phone carrier discount promotion. The government says it is working to ease the burden on consumers.
The Chuseok holiday begins tomorrow. The government will do its utmost to ensure a Chuseok without price worries. Above all, we will manage shopping basket prices as our top priority.
A key part of the holiday is preparing the chare, ancestral rite table, a feast of traditional dishes. Despite broader inflation, the government reports the cost for this specific meal has actually decreased. According to the Korea Agro Fisheries and Food Trade Corporation, the average cost is just under 200,000 won, or about $150, a 1.8% drop from last year. But the view from the ground suggests a disconnect between official data and the prices shoppers are actually seeing. According to Seoul City, Garak Mall here, located near a wholesale market, is the cheapest place to shop when preparing for ancestral rite table this Chuseok. It shows strength, especially in the produce section. However, vendors say that even at a price known for its value, business is slow, citing both high prices and the extended holiday keeping people away.
Business is bad. Fruit prices are so high that not many people are coming. And because the holiday is long, I wonder if people went traveling abroad. They're just not coming to the market.
Shoppers notice the difference in specific aisles.
Things like meat don't seem to have a big price difference, but I think vegetables and fruit have gone up a bit compared to usual.
Meanwhile, starting Wednesday until the 5th, traditional markets are running a promotion where consumers who purchase domestic agricultural, livestock, and fishery products can receive a rebate of up to 30% of their purchase amount in onnuri gift certificates, capped at 20,000 won per person, in efforts to further boost smaller businesses while taking burden off Chuseok shoppers. Kim Do-yeon, Arirang News.
And ahead of the long extended holiday here in South Korea, the benchmark KOSPI index soared past the 3,500 mark on this Thursday to post a new high. Our Moon Hae-ryun covers the day's rally.
The KOSPI is charging into record territory. For the first time in history, the main index soared past 3,500 points, peaking as high as 3,565.96 during Thursday's session. At Thursday's close, the index finished at 3,549.21 points, up 2.7%. The rally was led by Samsung Electronics and SK hynix, which surged on news of a new partnership with US AI giant OpenAI. Samsung rose over 4%, while SK hynix jumped more than 12% to an all-time high. The gains followed CEO Sam Altman's visit to Seoul, where he unveiled the Stargate project to expand global AI infrastructure. Under the plan, the two Korean chip makers will supply advanced memory chips critical for next-generation AI while pursuing new data centers in Korea. Global factors also played a role. Weak U.S. economic data has heightened expectations that the Federal Reserve will begin cutting interest rates sooner rather than later. That has fueled dollar weakness, strengthened the Korean won, and attracted foreign capital back into Asia's fourth-largest economy. Market analysts say the rally could continue into the year's final quarter, though some caution the index's heavy reliance on foreign inflows and a narrow band of tech stocks leaves it vulnerable to shifts in sentiment.
For now, the market is strong on expectations of a semiconductor supercycle and related optimism. But as we head into the fourth quarter, concerns over a U.S.-led economic slowdown and potential recession could weigh on sentiment and drag the market lower. Overall, we've entered a period where investors need to exercise caution.
On this note, President Lee Jae-myung commented.
우리 공직자들이 잘 준비해서 이 비정상으로 다시 돌아가지 않게 하고 또 더 앞으로 나아갈 수 있도록 제도든 정책이든 또 행정이든 최선을 다하면 지금보다는 좀 더 나아질 수 있을 겁니다. 경제 회복의 온기가 국민들의 삶 구석구석에 잘 스며들도록 모두가 다 혜택 볼 수 있도록 힘써야 되겠습니다.
With AI driving demand for advanced chips and Korean firms at the heart of the supply chain, investors are already speculating whether today's milestone could mark the beginning of what some are calling the KOSPI 5000 era. Moon Hae-ryun, Arirang News.
South Korea's current account remained in the black for the 28th month in a row in August. According to the Bank of Korea, the surplus hit $9.15 billion in August, marking the largest sum for August on record. The bank links this finding to a relatively greater drop in imports and a decline in energy purchases. Also, the cumulative surplus during the first 8 months of this year was some 24% higher on year. In celebration of the 19th World Korean Day this coming Sunday, President Lee Jae-myung today highlighted the importance of solidarity among Koreans at home and those living overseas to pave a productive path forward. Our correspondent Yoon Jung-min reports.
The nation finds itself in the middle of a fast-changing era where new challenges are emerging. That's according to President Lee Jae-myung addressing a World Korean Day event in Seoul, adding that's why the country needs to work together with overseas Koreans.
5천만 국민과 세계 각지의 700만 동포가 하나로 마음을 모은다면 우리는 다시금 이 위기를 이겨내고 더 큰 도약을 확실하게 얻어낼 것입니다.
Noting contributions by overseas Koreans in elevating the country as 10th largest economy in the world and a global cultural powerhouse, a message of full support was evident.
해외에 계신 우리 국민과 동포 모두의 권익과 안전을 지키는 일에 더욱 힘을 쏟을 것입니다.
Safety has emerged as a key concern for many Koreans living abroad in the wake of the recent raid at a Hyundai factory in the U.S. and controversial detention of hundreds of Korean workers. President Lee also vowed to improve the overseas voting system for those who have to travel a long way to cast their ballots.
우편 투표 방법 등의 가능한 방법들을 도입해야 되는데 이 제도를 바꾸는 데에 대해서는 많은 논란이 있는 게 사실입니다. 여러분들이 힘들겠지만 힘을 모아서 단단하게 뒷받침해 주시면 아주 빠른 시간 내에 제도 개혁이 가능하므로.
Also addressed were lowering the age threshold for multiple citizenship, currently limited to people aged 65 and older, as well as bolstering consular support. World Korean Day falls on October 5th. Present at Thursday's event were around 370 people, including heads of Korean communities from around the world. Medals and rewards were awarded to those who have contributed to Korean communities and the nation as a whole. Yoon Jung-min, Arirang News.
In the U.S., the federal government has marked its first day of a shutdown, with lawmakers across the aisle blaming each other. But investors on Wall Street appeared undeterred. Our Lee Sing-jae has the latest.
The United States federal government has entered a partial shutdown after Congress failed to agree on a new budget due to disputes over health insurance subsidies. The shutdown began on Wednesday, forcing several public institutions and tourist attractions to close their doors and causing inconvenience for citizens across the country. Over in Washington, D.C., iconic landmarks, including the Washington Monument, the National Archives, the U.S. Botanic Garden, and even the Library of Congress have already shut down. While the impact on the first day was limited, analysts warned that the consequences could intensify after October 6th, once the weekend has passed. Under shutdown rules, employees in essential sectors such as defense, law enforcement, and air traffic control will continue working. But hundreds of thousands of non-essential federal workers are being placed on unpaid leave. The Congressional Budget Office estimates that roughly 750,000 employees, or about 35% of the federal workforce, will be furloughed. Those who remain on the job will eventually receive back pay, but only once the shutdown comes to an end. Both parties are pointing fingers. The Democrats accuse Republicans of holding the budget hostage, while the Republicans blame Democrats for refusing to compromise.
What they have done instead is to shut down the government because we won't give billions of dollars to health care funding for illegal aliens.
Republicans control the House and the Senate, and there's a Republican president. If the government shuts down, it's because Republicans want to shut the government down.
Meanwhile, Wall Street appears cautiously optimistic. The S&P 500 closed at a record high on Wednesday as traders expressed hope that the shutdown would be short-lived and cause little damage to the economy. Historically, markets have weathered government shutdowns without much turmoil. But some analysts caution that this time could be different, given a range of economic pressures already weighing on the U.S. economy. As the days pass, the question remains, will lawmakers find common ground quickly, or will Americans face a prolonged shutdown that disrupts daily life and risks a broader economic fallout? Lee Seung-jae, Arirang News.
In other news, North Korea and Russia bolstering their ties both on the battlefield and on the diplomatic stage. In Moscow, their top defense officials reaffirmed their military alliance, while at the UN, the Kremlin defended Pyongyang's nuclear weapons program. Our Pyongyang reports.
On Wednesday, North Korean Defense Minister Ro Kang-cheol met with his Russian counterpart, Andrei Belousov, and pledged full support for Russia's war in Ukraine, calling it a defense of sovereignty and territorial integrity. The two ministers then attended the unveiling of a monument honoring North Korean partisans who fought alongside Soviet troops in World War II. Russia called it a symbol of brotherhood forged in fire and blood. The alignment was also clear in New York earlier in the week. At the UN General Assembly on Monday, North Korea's Vice Foreign Minister Kim Sun-kyung declared that Pyongyang will never give up its nuclear weapons.
We will never give up nuclear power, which is our state law, national policy, and sovereign power, as well as the right to existence. Under any circumstances, we will never walk away from this position.
Then on Wednesday, Russia echoed that message. At a press conference marking Moscow's presidency of the UN Security Council, Ambassador Vasily Nebenzia called North Korea's possession of nuclear weapons an open secret and a reality.
You may like it or not like it, but this is the reality. The reality justified by the threats that the DPRK, they really feel threatened by what is happening around the Korean Peninsula, by the activities, military activities, provocative activities.
He said those threats stem from what he called provocative military activities by South Korea, the United States, and Japan. Pyongyang, Arirang News.
Meanwhile, South Korea is postponing its annual large-scale field training, the Hoguk Exercise, to mid-November from its original schedule of mid-October. According to the Joint Chiefs of Staff, the decision takes into account the importance of a readiness posture as world leaders gather in Gyeongju for the APEC leaders meeting that starts on October 31st. The exercise, if held this month, also reportedly overlaps with the timing of this year's parliamentary audit and international events such as the Seoul International Aerospace and Defense Exhibition. The Hoguk Exercise is a theater-level field training aimed at enhancing the joint operational capabilities of the Army, Navy, and Air Force. Foreign Minister Cho says a new security deal with the U.S. may be finalized this month ahead of the APEC leaders meeting that begins October 31st. Speaking to Yonhap News Agency, Cho said bilateral talks on the security front have led to a rough agreement and that he will push to share details of this deal within this month as the two governments continue to seek common ground on the trade front. Initially, Seoul had sought to seal a comprehensive deal covering both trade and security with Washington. There is a UN agency that is actively engaged in the task of ensuring that artists, creators, and inventors benefit from their work within an environment where intellectual property rights are respected and supported. Our Park Ko-nu sat down with the man leading this mission.
From addictive K-pop songs to beauty and skincare products, Korea's cultural exports are built on creativity, ideas, and technology. As they gain popularity around the world, protecting their intellectual property has become more crucial than ever. At the forefront of this effort is the United Nations World Intellectual Property Organization, or WIPO. Its Director General Darren Tong says Korea's innovation and creativity are inspiring.
Visiting South Korea is a way for me to keep up to date with the latest trends in innovation and creativity, see what Korean innovators and creators are up to, see whether we can draw lessons from this to also inspire other countries.
For around 2 decades, Korea has been investing time and resources to share its IP experiences with other countries at WIPO.
Korea has been also working on the Korea Fund to help other nations, protect their IPs and also give them the technology and so on. So how has that been working throughout the years? It's been around like 2 decades, I must say. And so how has that worked successfully, and how important has that been to help other countries, and any specific examples as well?
A graduate from Timor-Leste who was educated in the Masters of IP and Development program here in South Korea, and she's now our consultant to help Timor-Leste to build its first national IP office. And she's just one of the people, of the thousands of people we have trained.
Beyond funding, Korea plays a wider role on the global stage.
WIPO is working with a lot of countries to identify websites that infringe IP rights. So through that, it allows stakeholders, to either block these websites or to not finance these websites. We are the place where they all come together to discuss what are the latest trends, and more importantly, to discuss how to address these issues.
But Tong warns against taking intellectual property for granted.
We forget there's a lot of hard work that goes behind a new technology, a new brand, a new song, a new dance. We must make sure that we support the innovators and creators so that they can continue doing what they're doing, which is to bring joy to our lives, to make the world a better place, through their new ideas.
At the same time, he shared his concerns for misleading content generated by artificial intelligence and suggested some solutions.
It requires discussion amongst many different segments of society. AI is like any other technology that we've seen, like when I was growing up, there was e-commerce, and each generation then need to address the technology, make sure that we use it positively, and either regulate or reduce the harmful use.
But at the end of the day, he stressed that AI can also serve as a powerful tool, not only in addressing IP infringement, but also in giving creators new ways to express themselves. The WIPO chief added that constructive dialogue, along with sharing expertise and experiences as Korea has done, will be crucial for countries to develop socially and find new engines of development. Park Gon-woo, Arirang News.
There were lots of clouds in the skies in the center parts of the country today. In the southern parts of the country, it will rain in Chungcheongnam-do province, the Jeollado provinces, and Jeju Island tonight, and rain clouds will spread to Chungcheongbuk-do and Gyeongsang-nam-do provinces tomorrow, and eastern parts of Gangwon-do and Gyeongsangbuk-do provinces in the afternoon. In particular, this rain will be concentrated in Jeollanam-do province and Jeju Island, with as much as 100 millimeters of heavy rain on the south coast of Jeollanam-do province and 120 millimeters on Jeju Island. Around these areas, when it rains, there will be heavy rain of around 30 millimeters per hour. Seoul will start off at 20 degrees Celsius tomorrow morning, Busan and Jeju at 21 degrees. Daily highs will go up to 24 degrees in Seoul and Busan, 25 degrees in Chuncheon. On the eve of Chuseok and the day of Chuseok, there's rain forecast mainly for the Seoul metropolitan area and Gangwon-do province. Have a great Chuseok holiday.
Right, that ends our newscast for now. As always, thank you for watching.